Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Your Kids podcast. And today we have with us a special guest, Chrishawn, or Kris, as she likes to affectionately be called. Introduce yourself.
Yes, hello. I am Kris Murray. I am an author. I am an entrepreneur. I wear so many different hats. I'm a speaker, but most importantly, an educator. I have a heart for the children in the community and, of course, the community itself.
Yes, yes. And you are a homeschool mother.
I am a homeschool mother. I have three little ones, 13, 10, and 5. And we do kind of a combo, a little bit of me homeschooling and some they're in a homeschool collective, but they're here. We're in control of our learning space. And that to me is an incredible power to have.
Yes. How did you get here? Why are we homeschooling? Why did
We
this?
we are homeschooling. I have a very, very specific answer to that because prior to having children, having a family, I was a photographer in that company that goes around to each school. So I got a preview of what it was like, and I decided that's not where I wanted to send my children if, one day I would have children. And so of course that happened. And so immediately I started putting together provisions for their education because I wanted to make sure that I gave them what I thought would be appropriate for them, not only subject wise, but just the freedom to explore the world. I don't think we're necessarily created to be at a desk, for hours and hours at hand. And that's essentially, unfortunately, what happens in some of the school systems where they're at a desk all day and then they graduate just to graduate to another desk all day. And that's just not what life's about. So everybody has their preferences, everybody has their situations where they do what's best for them, but for me and my family, homeschooling was definitely the best option.
Exactly. What works for you is what works for you. So we
Absolutely.
always say like homeschool is not for everyone, of course, just as traditional school is not for everyone. And everyone should
Absolutely.
respect, your home, your way type of deal. So
Absolutely.
I love that. She said, I was out here taking pictures at these schools. And I was, that ain't gonna work for
Yes.
me.
No, no,
Nice.
no.
So how long have you been doing it? How long have you been homeschooling?
My oldest, she is 13 right now. So of course, I didn't wait till 4 or 5 school age to start. You start with the
Yes.
very basic. This is, these are your fruits. This is what the furniture is called. And I think a lot of times we forget that that's where it starts. We're all homeschoolers at the
Yes.
beginning,
Yes,
and then we
ma'am.
just kind of turn it over to others who may be more experienced, or if you have to work and go back into that situation. But that's where it started for me. So I don't know, a little over 10 years, we'll say.
Nice.
I don't keep track. Like I said, it's a lifestyle. It's not something, oh, we're starting homeschool
Indeed.
today. No, it's life.
It's
We wake
life,
up,
yeah.
we do what we have to do, and a lot of that time that we're going to be spending is on learning, even if it's not set academic structural learning. There are things that we do that are a part of life that we have to figure out how to do or lean on the experience and expertise of someone that we trust. So.
I know. How is it entering into those teenage years? Like, how has it been?
It's interesting, but it's also, every stage has its reward. Like when my days now get tough, I remember the weaning process, the potty training process, and how I just felt like I wasn't going to win, and my child was going to be in diapers forever and all of that. And I remind myself that I made it through. So where I feel challenged
Indeed.
sometimes now with, the things that they have going on now, I use that as inspiration that this will not last forever. But I say that warmly. There are the
Yeah.
ups as well, just to finally, my youngest is now 5, get that sense of independence back where I can give instruction and I can sit down. I don't have to, be side by
Yeah.
side. But in terms of, having a 13-year-old, she's just becoming a teenager. It's beautiful too, especially since I have a daughter, then I can kind of see myself in her. I can, see certain situations that she's in where I'm very excited and eager to help because I remember, I was 13, a few years ago. And so,
You look
it's
it
fresh on my
too.
No, it's another opportunity to bond.
Yeah.
And for me, my style is very non-traditional, like extremely non-traditional. Like, we use books sometimes, but it's just I don't know, I can't say it other than it being a rewarding experience because
Right.
again, my thing is creating your own experience, creating your own reality. And there's no
Yes.
better example of that than to homeschool and create that educational space, that that environment, the energy, the mindset, and just positioning all of my children, but especially my daughter, since she is the oldest, my test baby, but positioning her for success. And so I love it. I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it for anything, or not the ups, not the downs. I love it.
Nice. That is so beautiful. I heard you say earlier that you're in a cooperative, like in a co-op.
Yes.
So how does
Yes.
that look? How does that work for you all?
Oh, I love that. I drop my boys off and I keep it moving. That's the best experience. But I'll come back. Since this is all I do.
I'll
So
come
I
back. I
drop
have
them
to
off.
come and get
I
them.
have I have an hour or two to myself, and then I prefer them to have a hot lunch. So I'll either come home and cook it, or conveniently, thank you, we have a family restaurant. I'll just grab
Yeah.
something and I'll drop that off so that they have a hot lunch. But I love it because you have that support. It's all about community. And as much as we like
Yes.
to think that they're our children, they really belong to the community. It takes a village, and it's the village that survives or dies based on how we prepare our children to take over when it's time.
Mm.
And so again, that's something else I wouldn't trade. My daughter was a part of it for a while, but now that she's a little more mature and more independent, I wanted to, again, my test baby, see what we can do in terms of propelling her forward. Because
Mhm.
my personal, and I'm no expert. I'm a homeschool, pretend teacher professional. But I just think that we should be able to accomplish what the public school system accomplishes in 12 years over the course of, from kindergarten to 12th grade. By the time they're 12, they should be able to learn all that stuff if they have the proper support, the proper resources, and we're doing it in a healthy way. Not, I'm just going to push you because I'm, a
Yeah.
psychopath, and world domination. No, nothing like that. But I just think that, in those settings, a lot of the time is spent elsewhere versus on actual learning and the core learning. I think, again, this is my personal experience. I believe that can be done. And so I've, this is my own journey, so it hasn't been perfect, and I'm looking to perfect it so that I can help other families. But in our experiences, she's at the point where, okay, we're doing academics, but we're going out. We had a meeting, a business meeting. She's an artist, and she's the actual one. I said I was an author. She illustrated the
Yes.
images in the book, and
Oh, that is
we had a
amazing.
yes, and so that's what I like to do. We like to spend time on that as well. It's not just we're not sitting behind desks unless we're eating, at the table at the restaurant.
Yes.
We might pull out a book or something, but we're on the move. We had a meeting today, and we're pushing her forward toward her dream now while she has the support. It's not that she has to go out when she's 18 or 18th birthday. I have her bags packed and she's on the porch, and good luck. That's not it. We let them kind of do their trial and error now while she has the support, of having her parents here to support her, and she has the financial support where she's not worried about, following her dream because she has to figure out how she's going to eat, or she's eating oodles and noodles, and
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that if that's, a situation that you're in, but it's not necessarily the ideal situation. So if we can prevent that and educate her in a way that prepares her to really be doing what she wants versus being in survival mode, then that's
Mhm.
the goal.
Of course, man, we're breaking the curses, love. We're breaking the
Yes.
cycle. So yes, no, there is
Yes.
nothing wrong with anything that you just stated. You are
Yeah.
setting her up for something different, something that you didn't necessarily have yourself. So
Right. Right.
yes.
And that's what we have to do. We have to champion, because I had a different experience. I went to boarding school, something else
Mm,
that I wouldn't trade. But, and I introduced it to her, but it's her choice. If you want to do that, beautiful. If not, then, the world is ours to create. So So we have to put ourselves in a position to champion for the children. And that's why it's so important to spend as much time with them as you can, because that gives you the opportunity to see what their interests are, to see what their strengths are, and then you can push them towards that. And I just think that's the most important thing for really creating a healthy relationship as a parent, but also a healthy relationship with themselves, because then they feel like and they really believe that they have the power versus having to always seek someone's approval, whether it's the parent or the teacher or the grandparent or the boss or whoever it is. They know how to establish their own goals and go after those relentlessly.
Of course. And you have a published author, well, a published illustrator
Yes.
at 13 years old.
Yes. And she was 12. So we're
Even
super
better.
excited about that. And
Yes,
I'm really excited anyway, but I try to over exaggerate because she's just so humble and so cute. So like
of
she's
course.
just smiling, but I really want her to understand how important this is, even to the fact that people, you know how it is when you have a baby, when you first have a baby and they're like, oh, how's the baby? And you're like, I'm fine too, it's kind of like that, I'll go in and I'll start talking and then immediately she gets the attention, which I love. And that's what I wanted her to know. I know people sometimes mistake that you were the author. We just politely correct them because we want to be honest, but don't ever worry about me. This is what I want. If you win, I win, your brothers win, your father wins, everybody wins, so we're pushing you because I'm doing that for everybody. It's not just you. I have my
Indeed.
moment when I do what I do, but this is your moment and we want to celebrate that.
That is so amazing. Please put the book up again. Tell us what's the
Yes.
title, where we find it.
Yes. So it's called The Great I Am, and
Yes.
it speaks to the power of positive thinking. Kirsten is my daughter. She is the illustrator of the characters in the book.
That is
And
so
if you
amazing.
do you want to grab a copy, you can find us at thegreatiambooks.com. We're also on all social media as The Great I Am Books. So pretty much Instagram and Facebook. And I won't say anything about age, but she's better at TikTok than I am. We'll just put it that
Of
way.
course. Yeah, of course.
But yeah, we're super excited about it. We have some other books that are in production right now, so we hope to have them to the public soon. And it's a journey that we're increasingly grateful for as the days go on.
Oh, that is amazing. I know I saw, and I probably have mentioned this on a couple episodes too, but I saw a post and I'm going to keep saying it says, talk to your child about what they want to do when they get older and have them do it now.
Yes,
And
yes,
that is what you're
yes.
doing.
I live by that. I live by it. She gets lectures because she's with me all the time. She's privileged to all of my my lectures as we go from place to place, but we just spoke about that. And like I said, it's about her. I'm not trying to push my dreams. The day she says, I don't want to draw anymore, I say, what do you want to do? Let's do that. You want to be a couch potato? No problem. Get you the best sofa, get you the biggest screen, get you the best snack connection, and you're gonna do your best, and I'm gonna support you. When I introduce people, this is my daughter, the greatest couch potato ever, and I say that just to be funny, but just to illustrate my point that it's really about you and whatever you want to do. I'm your champion, your cheerleader, your coach, your mentor to whatever extent I can be. And if I can't be because it's something that I'm not an expert on, we're going to find you those people and I'm going to be right beside you.
Such a confidence booster. That is so needed. Like these kids, I talk about all of pour into them, pour into them. So that's all that is they're filled with. Like anything else, they don't even let it in because it's like, what, girl? I'm already filled up with all these beautiful affirmations of what I know I am. So
Right.
I don't even hear you.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about. And that's what the beauty of what I feel the great I am is, because of course it's cute, this cute little guy. It's packaged for children, but when you're sitting there reading that to your children, I hope that it hits you too, as a parent, because the message is the same. It doesn't matter what it looks like, the message is for the child or the child in you. So we all
Yeah.
have that.
Yes, that is so amazing. I love that for you all. What does your day look like since y'all are very, not natural as far as what you do as traditional wise, but what does your day
Yes.
look like?
Yes. So
And I know
after
they
we
vary, so.
Yeah, it starts off pretty much the same, fussing and fighting, getting everybody out the door on time. Because we do have that homeschool portion of our day where we drop off our younger brothers. From there, we go into the restaurant where we can have some breakfast. We can just kind of unwind from the craziness of the morning, and then we sit down and we, if she has an assignment already, she'll work on that or read, and I'll get my emails in and all of that. And from there, it just depends on what we're doing. We may go like we did. We had a business meeting today. The world is ours. We can go to the museums. She likes to do her, cafe thing. So I'll take her different places and expose her to different things, different cultures, different communities, so that she understands how to operate in each one. And it's not about code switching or anything. If you go to France, you should probably learn a little bit of French, right? So that
A
you can
little
speak
bit.
and be fluent. If you're going to other places, different languages. And so that's what I say. Over here, we operate this way. The people operate this. You have to do this so that you can be successful, be successful or be safe, depending on where you are. We go over here, it may be this. So that's pretty much what it looks like on a general structure. But we work not necessarily from a specific curriculum, but I've put together things for each of the subjects, because with our county, we definitely have portfolio reviews and things. So we have to make sure we have something to show, because I know, the book is cute, but they they want to see some actual work. So we do actual work. It's just, in less of a structured manner. I'll tell her, okay, I need you to do these things. We'll sit down, we'll talk about it to make sure she understands what the expectation is. But I give her the freedom, if we're home, she wants to go upstairs to her room and work on it and listen to music, that's fine. Or, I give her the freedom to do it how she wants to, but just to understand that we have a specific day and time that the assignment needs to be completed. And there's an expectation of the quality of the assignment, because it's me, it's not, okay, let me just do a little bit so I can move on. No, you're still held accountable, because the energy that you put into it, it's beneficial to you. If you're gonna do this, then you're messing yourself up, basically, is what I want her to understand. And also, I say, well, if you guys, I tell them, all of you, you're not going to school, you're not doing your work, I'm gonna go to jail. Because I said, you have to be doing some type of work, either going to school or being proficient at home, or the police will come and get me. And so they don't like that. So that will kind of inspire them on those rough days when we're just kind of butting heads. But
Yes.
no,
Are
it's
you want
all
me,
fun. It's
you want
all
your
love.
mama locked up? Do you want me?
Right.
You want me locked up? You want me in shackles?
Right. I'm like, that's your plan, isn't? So I don't have to tell you this. They're like, no, 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 mama, then we're gonna do it. But it's fun. Like I said, it's beautiful. I don't know that there's any experience that's all, flowers and candy. I think that's the expression. But that's where you grow stronger, in those moments where you feel weak, where you're like, what am I doing? Where you feel like you've taken on too much, and then you push through and you come out of it, and you can look back and say, you know what? I did it, and so the next time you go into something, again, you have a reference point to help you get through.
Indeed. How much do you feel you've grown through all of this? Like, because you've been doing it
Um,
for a while, and this is like you said it at the beginning, this is a lifestyle.
It
So
is. It is. And I'm a totally different person. And it's because, which was the inspiration of the book, I am accountable for my experience. I can't look to anybody else. I can't look to relationships or failed relationships, teachers that I think aren't doing justice to my children, the community, the neighborhood, the government. It's me. It's my experience. When I realized that all I had to do was decide that I wanted to be this and do this, wake up and do it, that's when everything changed. That's when I was inspired to write the book. That's why I parent the way I do, I homeschool the way I do, I speak the way I do, because I have that understanding that it's all up to me. If I'm being treated in a way that I don't want to be treated, I'm not going to worry about the other person. I figure out what I do to get myself where I want to be, whether it's remove myself, have a conversation with the person, whatever it might be. It's up to me, to make it,
choices.
to make the choices to get me in the position that I want to be in. So I love it.
Nice, nice. Speak on boarding school. I've never spoke to anyone that's been to boarding school. I'm intrigued. How was that?
Yeah.
When did you go?
Yeah, so I went for high school. So straight out
Okay.
of 8th grade, I was there from 9th through 12th grade.
Really?
It's in
Okay.
Timothy School. It's in Baltimore County. So I'm based in Maryland. So it was about an hour away from where I live. So I was away, but not away like some of my friends who were from
Mm,
other countries. But it was the most beautiful experience ever. I don't know that I was mature enough to really appreciate it the way I do now
mm,
when I was there. But I wouldn't trade it because again, I have friends from all over the world, all over the country that, with Facebook we're able to kind of stay in contact,
yeah.
but and I'm, a little uh not I don't want to say and I'm an introvert, we'll put it that way. So maybe I don't reach out and hang out as much as maybe some of my friends. I see them hanging out all the time still, 20 plus years later. And it was just great because what was different for me that stood out the most, I came from the public schools that I would later take pictures at, and from being kind of picked on and name called for wanting to be studious and wanting to
Mm,
do my best, to it being the reverse at that particular school. And I don't know if it's the same at all schools, but if you weren't doing your work, you were the standout. People wouldn't pick on you or anything, but it would just be kind of like, like
what's wrong
what's
with
up
you?
what's up with
Yeah.
so yeah, what's up with so and so, like we're here, we're doing our best, and so I love that. And I wish I had taken more advantage of that. But again, it was just like going to college at 14. And so when I did
Mm,
graduate and I went to college, I was like, I just did this. And they slipped the bill under my door one day, and I said, I'm not gonna do this. So I left college early because I was like, I just did this.
mm,
And I went and I became an entrepreneur right right then and there. And I started my graphic design business. Graphic design media marketing is what my background is in before I started,
nice.
authoring and speaking and all of that. So I would recommend it, at least, if for anybody who's even interested a little bit, to go and check it out. Most of the schools, they do tours. The admissions teams are usually pretty, cool, and I guess they want to be because they're the gateway to getting into the school. But I would highly recommend at least, doing some research and visiting. The campus was beautiful. I'm not into horses and things, but there was horse riding, tennis, everything. And again, you get to have international friends and, all of these wonderful things. I went to the Bahamas on spring break. I think that was like 11th grade or something, because a few of my friends were natives of the Bahamas who had come to live at the school.
Oh,
So I
nice.
got to go as a teenager, and I got the like insider school versus being a tourist at the resorts and the hotels. They took me around to the neighborhoods and stuff. And you just get a whole different experience when you're with people who are familiar. So that's one of
Indeed.
the
So
highlights
you
of
are
mine.
well cultured with all of these different cultures surrounding you all that time for those four
Right,
years. Like you
right.
got to, see and venture into what other people do, what's their norms, what's their,
Yes.
what their beliefs are and things of that nature.
Exactly. Exactly. From South Korea, from Japan. I had a roommate that was from Vietnam, excuse me, from Vietnam, and, from one of my good friends from Venezuela, another from Mexico. And of course, I have friends from New York and Texas
Mm.
and, all these places that I wouldn't have otherwise met and been so close to, because of course we lived together. It was like a 4-year slumber party with all of my good friends. So it
That
was, it
is
was just
really awesome.
beautiful.
What led your parents to that decision? What was,
Because I stood out academically when I
mm,
was in public school, and there was a girl who went there, who we went to the same church.
oh,
And
okay.
somehow that happened, and I went on what they called back then an overnight, where you can go and stay for like one night and go to classes for a day. And I think they did that all the way up until COVID, because when my daughter went, I asked, and they said because of COVID happened, we don't do it anymore. But
Mm,
that's pretty much it. And I got accepted, and I cried. I didn't, it was just
mm,
big and scary. It's not that I, was opposed to it completely or anything. It was just, wait a minute, I'm 14 and I'm going away, and but again, I wouldn't trade it. I'm so thankful that
right.
I went, because of course my mother gave me the final decision, but I'm glad I said yes, because
Nice.
sometimes you say no to your own blessings. So
Hmm.
I'm glad I said yes.
Awesome. You see the 14-year-old who was accepted to Spelman?
I didn't see that.
Yes, a young lady that of
Wow.
course, amazing young lady. But a lot of people were talking about her going and being on campus with adults basically and like saying
Right.
what that be like for her. But just like, hearing you talk about this experience, I'm sure she's well taken care of. Or even if she's staying
Right.
on campus, I don't know her life. However,
Right.
that's just what
Yeah.
people were concerned about. But that's like maturity is maturity, and where you are with it
Yes.
is where you are with it. So it's like,
Yes.
everybody wants to group everybody like, oh, well, when I was 14, I was still doing this, doing it. Well,
Right.
honey,
Right.
that
Right.
was you.
Right, right. And you know what I got? What did you do? Because the perception was if you were sent to boarding schools because you were a
In
troublemaker.
trouble,
You know,
yeah.
so for me to have gone for, I don't know if it's necessarily the opposite reason, but for a positive reason, it was shocking, but also inspirational to other people to be more open-minded. So I like that part
Yes,
about it too.
yes, I love that. Has your
Mhm.
daughter ever expressed wanting to go to public school or any type of school?
Not public school, for sure.
She's
um,
like, no, I'm not,
Yeah,
I'm
we had
not
a
with that.
yeah, we had a recent experience where she confirmed that she wouldn't want to do that. But there are some schools, some of her friends from the co-op have changed and gone back to there's private school, and I'm open to it. I say, you just have to make sure that you are ready because in some of these schools that are so academically focused, there's a range. There's some schools that is all discipline, and then there's the ones that push you so hard that you just hate school and hate life. You know,
Mhm.
I said, well, this is going to be, closer to where they push you to be your best. So I want to make sure that you're ready for that. And she's written a proposal and hadn't
Oh,
and gotten her friend to help her, and they have quotes from people and stuff on why she should go to the school. So it's something that we're actually considering. But again, it's to support what she wants because maybe I
of
want to be
course.
super homeschool mom, but it's not that, we're doing life together. But I want to give her a fair say in the way this part of her life goes because she's getting closer and closer to independence. So I have to honor that.
Of course. Oh, I love that you said that. Like, that is so amazing. Yes, I, as parents, a lot of parents feel like it's like my way or the highway type deal. It's
Right,
like, no,
right,
I said, but I
right,
always like when transition or people are telling me that they want to homeschool, especially teenagers. It's like, well, did you talk to that child? Like, have you included them in with that?
right,
Like,
right.
are they a part of those decisions? That's always a concern for me because it's a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it is, and it's important. And I think, you know, again, I have not studied, but I'll give you my opinion. Of course, that's all it is. Um, a lot of what we deal with as adults is because of the childhood we've had.
Mhm.
I feel like all the wars in
Mhm.
the world, and again, or maybe over speaking, but it's because we didn't get enough hugs as children. We didn't get the attention, we didn't get the love
Just
and the
said that
support.
yesterday.
You
Them
know,
hugs, girl. Hugs go a long way. People don't be
they
acting like, yo, you
do.
angry. Come here. Come here.
Yes,
Bring it
yes,
in.
and that's what happens. We take all that pent up aggression after 30, 40, 50 years, and then we turn into the villain,
Yes.
and it's not even intentional. We can't help it because we've been deprived so long. We don't even realize the damage that's been done. We don't realize the power and the hurt and the hate and, all the negativity that we spew back out, even usually unintentionally. And I think that
Yeah.
having discussions like this, doing all the great work that you do that we haven't even touched on, being in the community and being active and creating resources and being a support or just, open arms. You can come and talk,
Yes,
doing
ma'am.
those things are what's going to get us to where we need to be in the future. The children are the future. I don't understand why there's not more support and attention on that, but I don't have to understand because I know it's my mission to do what I can to
Exactly.
fill in
And
that.
that's why you're writing those great books.
Yeah.
Like you're doing that. Did it in your intro, did you say advocate? Did you say advocate?
No, but I consider myself an advocate.
Yes.
Right now, I like to use the word educator because I'm growing my organization. So I'm wearing all the hats, but I really like to step out of that educator position in terms of the tutoring and everything and let the pros and the expert come in. And I just be the champion, be the advocate for it because I believe that I have a gift to connect people to speak, to come on podcasts like this and share the information. And that's what I want to do. I want to be able to travel, go from city city to city and just bring light to what needs to be done, and then bring light to the resources that we already have lined up. Because while it's
Indeed.
okay to bring up the problems, that's not enough. Okay, now we know what the problem is. What are we doing about it? Well, actually, we have free tutoring every week here, and you can sign up here and this. And what else do you need? We have this, this, and this. That's what I want to be about, solutions, bringing those
Yes.
to the forefront. So yes, I do see myself as an advocate.
Advocate. Yeah.
I am that, but I want to transition fully to that once I'm able to build up the team. So, if anybody is
Of course.
interested, like I said, I'm in the DC area, but I am not, I am not locking myself down here. I love to travel, as we've talked about, moving
Oh
around, and
yes, Kris is
freedom is a
joining
big
us
thing for
on
me.
several expos. Like she's coming to speak at several expos this year, and I'm just so excited. Like I haven't had. Well, I did have Miss Glow. She actually traveled with us to each expo last year. With like in the car with me
Oh
physically.
wow.
But to know and like just to I appreciate you. Like I tell you that. Like I know people. I have so much gratitude towards you, and just the way that you just stepped up and like, oh, if you want me to come here, I'll come here too. Like if you want me to do this, I'll do
Look,
this.
just let me know.
Like offering this, like yo, you're amazing. You really are. So maybe advocate was something I felt like you already stepped into that position,
Right.
naturally. So
Yeah.
speak on your organization.
Sure. So legally and formally Rise Nation, and of course I picked that just because I believe in elevating. It's what
Yeah.
I've always done. Even my very first business was just helping people become a better version of themselves. So I reinvented myself many times, but looking back, I realized it's been the same thing the whole time. Getting people to think right so that you know how to change your life for the better. So under that umbrella, I have the books. I have a publishing company. Right now, we just have the books that I've done, but
Mhm.
eventually, maybe we'll expand out and help others become authors as well. But that's
Right.
primarily what we do. I don't want to do too many things because I can get really excited. But if I can just, like you said, be an advocate and go around and spread the word and organize events, or be a part of events that others like you are organizing, and again, just continue to spread the love and the message of just creating your own reality. That's the basis of it. That's the mission, just to get people to understand the power, their innate power to, be their best. We spend so much time complaining and pointing fingers, and we're so amazing. Mothers, women, children, we stop them before they even get started by programming them to a system that is not designed to work for us. We have to realize that if we can wake up and really take action. Fathers, men have such a great presence, when they're around, because they do things differently, and where they're, holding the baby like this, and then we're like, oh my God, babies need that. I don't understand it. I'm not going to advocate necessarily because I don't really understand it, but I know it has a benefit. So I guess there's a partial advocacy for that. But we all have a role to play, and that's
Yeah.
what I also want to encourage, where when you start something, like I'm starting now, you have to wear all the hats, but I know there's some areas where people are going to be 20 to 100 times better than I am, and that's what I'm looking toward, just building a team. My my dream, something that I really like is those superhero movies where you have like all the different superheroes come together. They all have different powers. X-Men,
Yeah. Oh,
that's kind of like
yeah. And the Avengers. The
yeah,
Avengers.
yes, exactly. That's kind of the thing that I see, myself being an undercover superhero, and I get people to, control their world. I like that type of stuff. So, just to join arms with like-minded people, where we have somebody who's, a literacy expert, and somebody who's into the STEM, and somebody who's into the arts, and we're all helping the community together. Somebody who can cook, somebody who can, do all this stuff. Agriculture, because I love to eat, and I'm a vegan, but I don't know that you're gonna catch me out there in the dirt trying to figure out what seed goes where and when. So I need
Right.
to find somebody I can partner with. But
Yes.
that's it in a nutshell. I know I'm passionate, so I can go on and on. I said I was an introvert, but when I talk about things like this,
That
I'm
you're
just a whole
passionate
different
about.
person.
Yes.
I can't stop. But I look forward to continuing to grow and to share, to meet you in person, to speak at your events. I'm so glad I came across them, and I don't know, it just seemed like you're doing something that's so phenomenal. And I know it's not that it just seems like that, you are. And so I
Oh,
wanted to
thank you.
lend myself and my superpower to be able to, support and encourage you for everything that you're doing, because that's another thing that happens in the community. We have these people who are passionate, and people see them as strength, and you don't realize how much you go through. As I've attested, even my one little itty bitty event that we have coming up, you don't know what really goes behind the scenes. You show up on that day and you have a nice time and you thank the organizer, but you don't know the months and the weeks and the hours and the minutes and the tears and the sweat that have gone into organizing that and pulling it all together so that you are able to have a fantastic experience. So my hats are all, my hats, all of them are off to you, and what you do. You have time to stop and do a podcast. I don't know how you have time for all of this. You have your family,
I don't
so
know.
I want to turn this around and celebrate you.
Well, I appreciate that, but it's people like you, me being aligned with individuals like you that are like-minded and understand the mission, being a part of the solution, being a part of the change. So I wouldn't be able to do any of what I do. Like I said, I had me and Miss Glow met last year, and she hopped in the car
Wow.
with me last year and traveled
Wow.
all around. And I know for a fact if she had not have done that, it wouldn't have came out as it did. It would not have happened.
Right.
And I'm so grateful for her. And I'm so grateful. Like, you're not about to have me up here crying though. But I'm just so grateful because, like, you have a vision, you have dreams, you have goals, you have all that. And then it's not until you actually, start working them out and start doing that you
Right.
see, like, yo, there's other people that want to support you doing this. There's other people that's
Right.
dope out here that just wants to see greatness, wants to see change, wants to do something different than what we have been programmed to think we have
Right.
to do. And I
Right.
love it. And I'm so
Right.
grateful. And that's why,
Yeah.
all things come together for the good. I'm really,
Yes.
really, really big on that. And I
Absolutely.
feel it as like when I get the no's from people or people saying, nah, I'm a pass this year, or like, it's just, you're not in the line. Like, it's
Right.
not meant
It's a
for me
good
to
thing.
work with. Yeah.
Yes.
And that is
Yes.
fine. That is fine.
Yes.
I don't hold nothing
Yes.
against anyone, but I keep it moving. That's what,
That's right.
please know that I'm going to keep it
Right.
moving.
Right. I
And
like
it
that. I
just
like that.
always comes
That's a t-shirt.
together. Yeah,
Yes.
right. I'm going to keep it moving. Yes.
Right.
Because I want things different for my girls.
Mm.
Like you said, we talk about the problems all the time. Like, everyone's able to talk about problems. Like, we see them, like they're written and everything. Like, we know. However, it's not often that you talk to people that wants to be a part of the solution. And then
Right.
understanding how important it is to be a part of that solution, because like you said, the kids, like, we gotta change things for them. I know I'm not gonna
Yes.
live forever, even though Kenny asked me to live to 100, and I told her I may give her 80 because it's real ghetto down here.
I
But
love it.
but like, I just want to make sure that my grandkids, great grandkids,
Right.
just that lineage is good and they're
Yeah.
happy with what they're doing. And to hear my girls talk about starting schools, making that, talk about them going to homeschool their kids, talking about the foods,
No.
talking about black seed oil, like, just talk about all
Right.
the things that
Yes.
I already know that
Power.
I've changed. Yes,
Yes.
like,
I
it's
love it.
beautiful. And I can't wait for them to meet your daughter, because that's just going to be even
Yes.
more inspiration for Kenny. Like, she likes to illustrate. She likes to draw. She don't take it seriously or anything. She do it whenever it crosses her mind, like, oh, I'm gonna do this. Gonna have me buy her so many drawing books and everything else. Because I'm a
Right.
support, like you said, like,
Right.
what you want to do. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get this for
Right.
you.
Right.
But I just love having these conversations. These podcast interviews is what keeps me going, what keeps me like,
Mm.
oh, this is beautiful. Like, this is
Yeah.
always refreshing and refueling. Like, to know that there's individuals out there that, hey, we doing something
Yes.
different.
Yes. 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 I love it. And we need it, because there are
Yes.
those moments where you feel like you're alone, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get to scrolling and then a podcast like yours pops up. And then, like you said, you're rejuvenated, you're back, and,
Yeah.
you're ready to get back to the work that we have to do.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's so important, but it's so necessary. So
It is.
necessary. So
It is.
necessary.
It is.
And I'm grateful. I'm honored. I understand the assignment, as they say.
Yes.
Like, I
Yes.
understand the assignment. And so,
Yes. Absolutely.
hey, people don't know
Look,
I'm really sensitive for real, but it's just,
yeah.
yeah.
No,
But
it's part work, and I think, there's nothing wrong because I tear up too, but I will apologize or I feel bad. I'm like, I can't believe no, this is the badge,
mhm,
because there's a lot of this, but you can't fake this. You can't fake this,
indeed.
So let it flow. That's how I feel.
And you bet on yourself out the gate. Like you went to, like you say, you stepped into college and was like, yeah,
Yeah.
no, this ain't gonna be it.
No. Yeah. And
That
that's how
talk
I know.
about
It's
that
like,
courage.
yeah, you realize you're built for it, and a lot of times, they say it's so much easier, and I like idioms and stuff. I always mess them up, but anyway, I know when you look in the rearview mirror, you can see the picture better. That's basically what it means.
Okay.
Looking back, you can connect the dots better, and that's how it was for me. Maybe I didn't necessarily know that I was being courageous. I just knew. I looked at the bill and I considered, I compared that to the experience I was having. I compared it to the 4 years I just spent because my boarding school I didn't mention was all girls. For some reason, I decided to go to a women's college, and I was like, no, we're not
Oh
gonna do
wow.
this
So you were
again.
just like,
It
no
was it was
masculine, no
right. It was just
testosterone.
yeah, but it wasn't even that. It was just like it's the same exact experience. Why am I gonna do this again? I've already done this. Now it's
Mhm.
time to graduate and move into something else. And that's so I went immediately into entrepreneurship. I think I actually went, my uncle, he has a business. I think I might have worked for him and then, kind of figure my way from there. But it's just something that inside in your heart. Women, we have intuition, but this type of intuition, we all have, where you just
Yes.
know when you know something's not right, or when you know that something is right. It's just that voice, you just know, we have that guidance. And when you are sensitive enough to it, you can really, really benefit from it because, you turn off the noise, you get away from the programming and you start to reprogram yourself the way that you want to be programmed so that you can, again, have that experience that you want to have.
Yes, the noise, honey. Speak on the noise. Because I talk about
Yes.
the noise when you step away.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
always gonna come at you, and that noise could be in the opinions of others as far as family members go, friends. It could be the news, it could be,
Yes.
social media, it could
Turn it
be any
off.
type noise
Turn
coming,
it
all
off.
types of any
Yeah.
like, yeah, step away
Yeah.
from it. Bet
You
on
do. My
yourself.
children know once when we come in the house, I get 15. I go in the room, they're all, like I said, we're in independence now. So everybody can go where they're going. I don't have to watch anybody. I'm going in my
Mhm.
room. Don't bust in because I'm putting on my robe, and this is my time to just okay, then you can come in, we talk. You want to read a story, whatever you want to do. Tell me about your day. Show me your proposal to go to the school, whatever you want to do. Just give me my little 15 minutes,
Yeah.
because it's so valuable, the silence. And I think if people understood that more, they wouldn't feel so bad about, though, being single, or, even, single parenthood. Sometimes you got to just have some time to do it by yourself, because
Yes,
there's some
ma'am.
things that you need to understand that you wouldn't understand in an environment of noise.
Mhm.
Somebody's telling you this or doing this or doing that. No, no, no. Figure out who you are. It's really hard to expect to be in a successful relationship or situation, or parenting, whatever it is, if you don't even know who you are and what you want for
Mm.
yourself. You got to know that
Yes.
first, so that when someone or something approaches you, you can compare, is this in alignment with what I want? That's what we don't do. We say, oh no, this is nice. Oh, I did want to go out to eat tonight. It's okay. I'm a vegan, but we can still go to the steakhouse. No problem. That's where you mess up. Going to the steakhouse when you know you're a vegan. You don't want that salad. You don't want that. They cook the fries and the grease with the rest of the stuff. Don't do that to yourself.
Girl.
Be confident and you love yourself. Like I've always
Yes.
been, I would, it was sad when I was younger. I would cry because I didn't have friends and I was alone. I value it now and I appreciate my training. I will straight up go out to dinner by myself, not even thinking about it, just hoping that I don't get too comfortable and start talking out loud. You know what I'm saying? I go to the movies, I don't get to, I don't really go, but still, I'm please,
Indeed.
introvert plans canceled.
Go sit
But
and
it's
play
just
this
because,
chess.
yeah, I just enjoy it, and that makes, I think, the times that I'm out and I'm teaching and I'm around people that much more special, because I make the most of it, because I know I'm going home and I'm getting in my robe and I don't want to hear anything from anybody. Text message, I'll talk to you tomorrow. It just makes the experience beautiful, because you get to isolate certain things to really savor the joy out of each thing. And I don't know, it's kind of like eating. I fast a lot, and when I eat, I usually eat simple. So if I eat an apple, I can feel the entire experience. Does it make my skin and whatever it is. And I think, the experiences of life, when you have so much going on, you can't pinpoint what's coming from where. Is something stressed me out? Or was it the road rage situation? Was it the food that I ate? Was it what my boss said? Was it what? No, keep it simple. You say, oh, okay, well, now I can handle the situation differently the next time, because I know that if I wait till the last minute to leave, and I might get in a traffic situation, you're able to self-manage, self-care much better. So I'm off on a tangent.
Yes.
Please get me back on
Oh,
track.
no, you're fine. No, because self-care is important and people
It
have to
is.
understand the importance of that. And like you said, even if it's just 15 minutes, like I'll be taking longer. Because I be playing my chess games. I'm like, hey, when I finish this game, because that's just I don't know, that's a downtime for me. That's something that I have to solely just focus on that right at that moment. And I
Right.
love that because like you said, I am all over the place. Like I do have a bunch of things that I do, but they're all in alignment. And so it seems easy. Like you all, I'm like,
Yes.
how are you doing all this stuff? It's like, I really
Yes.
don't consider it work. The
Yeah,
most work, the
exactly.
hardest part of work for me is social media. Like
Mm,
posting on social media,
right.
going and doing the Instagram. You see, I don't post often on Instagram. Like I be trying, but it's like I can't do it all. Like can't.
Right.
Like, that's what I said. I would pay. That'd be the first thing that I pay for if I
Mhm.
could pay for somebody to do something. Can you do
Right.
that?
Right. That would
Can
be
you?
it, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
But just the downtime and understanding that that's necessary.
Yes.
Being comfortable, being happy. I speak on that
Yes.
too. Like, how often do we ask people, "Are you happy?"
Right.
Like, you always ask somebody where they work at. Oh, what you doing? Oh, where you
Mhm.
at? Like, oh, okay, where you live at now? Da, 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 da. Like, we ask all these questions trying to get up to date with someone's world. But not often do we ever really ask them, well, are you happy?
That's deep. I don't know. I'm sure you know what that question means, but that's a deep question to present out to the public, because the answer to your question is no,
Mm,
and I think sometimes it's because we don't really understand the importance of taking responsibility for your happiness.
mm,
And happiness in itself, what place does it have? Because we're programmed to believe that it's secondary. You
mm,
got to work, you got to do the important stuff, do what you don't like first. Happiness is a luxury.
mm,
When I believe that it's your happiness, it's and I'm intertwining the meanings a little bit, but it's the desires that we have, the things that we are passionate about, that lead us to our greatest experience in life. So
mm,
happiness is the a tool for measuring where you are in terms of your alignment.
mm,
So if I'm in a situation and I'm feeling bad, then it's not okay, you just have to tough it out because you have to do this or that. That's your sign to know that this isn't where you're supposed to be. Something needs to change.
mm.
Whether it's, like I said before, you removing yourself from the situation, or you figuring out what's wrong with the situation that needs to be adjusted so that you don't have that feeling. And it's, again, speaking to self-care, when the check engine light comes on, you don't put a piece of tape. Well, I don't know, maybe some people do. You
Put a
just
picture
ride
right in
around with
front
it
of it,
on.
girl.
But wait a minute, the way it should work is when it comes on, it's just a signal to let you know that you need to check things out. When the smoke alarm, I've seen so many videos and Zooms and things where you got that beep, the fire light, that means the battery needs to be changed. You don't just take the battery out and, you got to put it back in so it can work properly. When your head starts hurting, you need to figure out what's the cause. You know, are you too stressed out? Are you on your device for way too many hours in the dark? You know, whatever it might be, we have to take heed to this communication that we're getting from the universe, from our bodies, from situations to let us know that something needs to change. And then when it's beautiful and flowers and sunshine, that's also a signal to keep going. Keep going. You're on the right path. You know, synchronicities happen. Oh, you know what? I was just talking about that. What do you mean? That's just letting us know we're on the right path. You
Yes,
know, and when we
ma'am.
understand these things, we realize that we're not actually alone, even if we are physically alone. We're not
Oh,
actually alone.
yes, ma'am. Oh,
So
you
that's the
better.
that's the beauty of life. That's the beauty of life. Like, don't get me started. We're
All
gonna
right.
part two, the metaphysics of life.
Right? I know. Like, oh my gosh. Because this, I tell people all the time that app, that homeschool app, I mean, that wasn't me. Like, I did that in like 3, 4 months.
Mm,
It's hard for me to sit down with it now and try to
right,
update it. So I know for a fact that wasn't me. That
right,
was not me. But
right,
I listened and I understood what I needed to do and I did it. But when
right,
people ask, well, how did I don't know.
right,
But I'm thankful and I
right,
so much gratitude and I'm just listening. I just listen. But that's what you're able to do when you're able to shut out the noise. When you
exactly,
get away from the
exactly,
noise, you're able to sit
exactly,
and listen.
precisely, precisely.
Listen. Yeah, so I'm not gonna hold you over an hour, even though you know we can definitely keep going.
Yes.
Where can we find you? Where can we find all the great? I know you already gave the book website, and that's going to be available in the description as well. But where can we find your organization, your graphic design business, any of it, anything you want to shout out real
Yes.
quick?
So yeah, you can always access me from thegreatiambooks.com. That's where all of my latest books, events, our free tutoring that we do here in the DC area, actually in Prince George's County, Maryland. You can find it there, but my personal social media page, which is what I use for public communication, is Kris Murray Live. So that's going to be on Instagram and on Facebook. I'm thinking I set it up so long ago, but it's Kris Murray Live. Or just search Kris Murray. I'll pop up, and you know, I am open and willing and passionate and available, not only in the DC metro area, worldwide. You know, if there are other people who are inspired by this, which I know they are, then you know, don't hesitate. When you find your people, it's the greatest feeling in the world. So, you know, you
Indeed.
have connected with what we shared today. Hey, you know, hey sis.
Yeah.
You know, don't hesitate. We are here. And this is exactly why we do what we do, to make sure that we stay connected with the others that are like-minded.
Indeed. And they find you too, girl. I promise you.
Yes.
Everywhere we go, like you said, when you walking in your purpose, when you walking and you know you're doing like every girl, we from running the homeschoolers everywhere. Like
Yes.
everywhere. It's like, oh,
Yes.
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 Fancy meeting you here. Like
Right. Right.
but yes, no, and that you spoke on it a lot throughout this conversation. Community, community, community,
Yes.
community, community.
Yes.
Want people to
Yes.
always understand that this is not a journey you have to do alone. And before I go on my tangent, my little, outro, give us 3 things that you would give, because you're a vet, like you're a vet in the game right now. So give us 3 things that you would tell to encourage new homeschool families that are
Sure.
transitioning into this world.
I would say first, give yourself the freedom to embrace doing it your way. Don't put that guilt on yourself to follow what you think everybody's doing or expecting, besides, of course, what's required by your jurisdiction. I would say have fun. You know, school doesn't have to be this structure, you know, you with the chalkboard and a ruler. That those days are long past. So make sure it's creative and fun. And I would say, you know, make it yours, you know, which is kind of repeating the first two, but I think that's the most important thing, because if you want it to be someone else's, then you can just sign up for something that exists already, which is fine. But when you have the opportunity to really hone in to your specific needs, the specific needs of your children, their interests, and I think you're doing not only yourself and your children a justice and a benefit, the community as a whole. So we want to see what you can see in your children what nobody else is going to be able to see, and that's why you were paired with them. So take that as your platform and opportunity to nurture and encourage and grow those things. So
Yes, also very important. Like, and y'all see Kris, like I would listen to her if I was y'all, because look at she's still smiling. She look good. She look like she in her early 20s, been in the game for 10 years. Like she been homeschooling. She told y'all, you can drop the things off somewhere, find your community.
yes,
And you could drop
yes,
them off and
yes.
give yourself a break. Cause you know, people hear homeschooling, they're like, yo, I'm not trying to be at home with my kids every day, all day, every day. Like
Build
you
you a
don't have
village.
to build your
Yes.
village. Yeah, build your community. The community we have in Arizona, I love them. Like, cause I can't drop my kids off too. So I love that. Okay.
Yes,
Because
yes,
we are together. We are together all the time, but our relationship is amazing,
yeah,
And I appreciate and we ain't gonna even go there, but just know that I love mine. Like that's gang. I tell people
yes,
that's gang all day,
yes,
every day. Gang,
yes.
gang. Yes, yes, yes. But build it. Build your community. Build what works for you. Do what works for you and your family. And understand
Absolutely.
that's the point of these podcasts is to show the different and various ways that you can do this.
Yes,
It's about making it yours, making
that's
it
right.
work for you and your family. So do that, you know, and in the meantime, in between time, homeschool your kids.
That's right.
That's right.